Hello there, this is Cheryl Lentz, Independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, winging it on Wednesday. And I had a number of conversations today, or texts back and forth with people regarding equipment, regarding embossing folders and involving our cut and emboss machine, our dies, the correct usage of them, which, after a while you get to just kind of use them and you don't think about it. But there's a right way and a wrong way, and using it the incorrect way can harm your equipment. And you spend a lot of money on the dies and folders and all the good stuff, the embossing machine. You want to be using everything correct. So I decided here we go, sorry. Sorry for the intermission. So I was out all day. I went with my siblings and some friends to see Top Gun. So that was exciting. My heart rate went up to like 133. It was really exhilarating. So I'm going to just kind of calm down and talk about some of our equipment. So first thing, I'm going to turn the camera around. I'm going to show you what comes with our cut and emboss machine. I'm going to talk about the big one I have right here, and just kind of talk about simple things. So if you're joining me now, thank you. If you're joining me later, thank you. Please chat with me a little bit. I'm also going to show quickly this month's paper pumpkin, because I quick did up 3 of the cards instead of doing it now. Perfect Judy stopped by this morning and chatted to me about embossing folders and the correct layering. And then I had a text about the dies. So that's what prompted today's informational meeting here. So I'm going to turn the camera around real quick here. Maybe. Close your eyes if this bothers you. Here we go. So let me just loosen this up a little bit. I tightened it too much and now I can't turn it. So there we go. I'm just going to tighten it and put it right there. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. There we go. So here we go. Hi, Cheryl. So I love our cut and emboss machine. What I love is you can do this with it. So the big one and the little one, you can fold it up nice and neat. It works great for carrying it around and moving it around. So you get this machine when you buy it, right? And it comes with a base plate, this number 1. Comes with an additional plate, number 2. It comes with 2 of the number 3 plates, the clear acrylic plates that are sort of beveled here. And it comes with this plate number 4, which is for using the 3D dies. Now, if you're not sure which is 3D, I should have mine marked, but this is the difference between a 3D die and a regular die, the thickness. So you can see how thick this one is. This is a 3D die versus this one here is a regular die. See how much thinner that is? So 3D die is going to give you that really deep, wonderful impression. And the regular dies are just going to give you a regular, impression, thinner. So, and they're marked in the book. So when you look at the catalog, it says right on here, so this is the painted posies that I have. It says 3D. So a lot of them are 3D, not all of them, but a lot of them are 3D. And here's our little Into the Clouds. That's the other one I pulled up. That is just a regular embossing folder. Okay. So the mystery is taken out if you read the plate. So I'm going to open this up. Let's see here. I'm going to open this up here. So some people know this, and sometimes you just need a little reminder on things, right? So, so on your base plate right here, it says, if you're, and it I'm not always one to read directions, but on this, it's really important to do that. So if you're using the 3D embossing folders, right there, 3D embossing folders, you need plate number 1, which is this plate here, and plate number 4, which is the gray plate, okay? Now, this is really important, and this is what people in class forget to do. If you're using the standard embossing folders, you need plate number 1, which is this base plate, and just your clear acrylic plates. And I'll show you what happens. You can push it through, but if you do this, now this is plate number 2. This is what it should look like right here. This is never a cutting surface. Either is this one, never a cutting surface. Obviously, in class, people have been using it as a cutting surface. Also, they've been leaving this plate number 2 in when they use the regular embossing folders. And this is what happens. It gets bent. And yeah, and so when you put it on here, you don't have a nice flat surface. It's bent, okay? So never, never, never cut anything on these plates that are giving you instructions, okay? If you do that, this is what's going to happen. You're going to bend and ruin these. These 2 plates come with your machine, but if you have to purchase this separate, which I've had to do to replace this bent one, it's $30. That's a lot. That's a lot. So read the directions. So when I'm doing my deep embossing, so I have plate number 1, just like it says here. Here's my folder, okay? So these folders are kind of cool because they have a little line on them. So if you're lining it up and want to have it perfectly straight, you can use that as a guide. Excuse me, I'm just going to pull some cardstock down here. So when I put this in, this one, you know, depending on which way you want to cut it. So if you emboss it. So I would line this up with my little line here and to put it in. So this one is my thicker plate. It's going to give me a 3D thick embossed image. So I'm using plate number 1. Then I'm going to put my the folded side of your folder towards your machine. If you put it this way, you could crimp this and actually crack this right into your folder, right in two. So always the fold goes towards your machine. With a 3D embossing folder, you're going to use plate number 1 and plate number 4. And then it will go through easily. If it's too hard, you know that you're doing something wrong. You shouldn't have to strain or stress to get it to go through. So here I put this through, and here's my beautiful deep impressions. Okay, so that's the 3D folder. Okay, now if we're going to do the other one, we're going to do our regular embossing folders. Take out plate number 2. Do not use it. Put in one of your plate number 3. So you have plate number 1, plate number 3. Then you have your embossing folder. And again, I always go, I always put, I'm going to go this way. I always put my fold towards the machine. Come on, if I can get this straight here. There we go. So my fold is going to go towards the machine. So I have plate number 1, plate number 3, my embossing folder, and another plate number 3. So the 1 base plate and 2 acrylic plates fold towards your machine, and it glides through easily. If you have to push it too much, you probably forgot to take out plate number 2. Okay, don't do that. You don't want to wreck your plate number 2. So here we go. And now I have a embossed image. You can see that. But this is the thinner die. So just case in point. Okay, so the other question is if you're doing dies. I'm going to move this over a little bit. So when you're cutting with dies, I'm going to have plate number 1, plate number 2. This is not a cutting surface, so I'm going to have plate number 3 on here, okay, for your dies. And it says right on here, using thin dies. Plate number 1, plate number 2, which is the white plate, and then 2 of the number 3s, which are the clear acrylic plates. Now, if you take your dies, let me put a piece of paper on here, and you are constantly just going through back and forth, this is what's going to happen. Your dies are not going to lie flat. So when I do my dies, this one was used in class, and that's what happened. Somebody left it exactly in the same spot and went back and forth. There's a tight roller in here, and that's just going to make your dies. So move them around. None of the other ones did. That one was used in class. I happen to have 2 sets of these, the embossing folders. So move your dies around. They don't have to go in the same place. So if you're going to move your paper, if you want this centered in a certain spot, instead of just running it through straight all the time, move your paper. So you're going to hit that die at a different angle, okay? It's going to save your die. Now, this die still works, but it's just frustrating when it's wonky, I should say. When it's wonky like that, it's just frustrating. So even when I'm doing bigger dies, so if you're doing, I haven't used these yet. This is the Artisan Editions dies, which I thought were super cool. Even if you're doing this one, if you're doing these big square dies and you hit this, you put this in like this, you're going to have a big clunk, right? But if you go in at an angle, so I'm just going to angle this. I'm just giving it a good border here because I haven't used this die at all. So this is all new. So if you're going in at a different angle, you're going in at the point instead of hitting it head on. And then where's my other? So I have plate number 1, 2, 3. I got to find my other one. I pulled out a brand new one, so it's very clear. Where's my number 3 plate? I don't know where I put it. My other number 3. The other number 3. Well, let's bring this one in. Okay. Plate number 3. So I have my die in there. Plate number 1, plate number 2, clear acrylic, my paper, my cardstock, my die, and then another clear acrylic, number 3. And then I'm just going to run it through. So anything long, our rectangles, our stitched rectangles, all of that good stuff, I run through at an angle. Look at how beautiful this is. Ooh la la. And all that'll just kind of come out. Now, if it's very detailed, you can run it back and forth, but again, don't hit it right head on because you're going to get a big clump. It's going to clunk for you, and it's just better to kind of ease it in, right? And so if I'm doing this multiple times, I'm going to switch it around. I'm going to switch my die around so that I'm not always going just back and forth and rolling back and forth on this same die. So that's a little tip. Let's see what the other ones do. This one's pretty cool. When I have them like that, then I just have to, I take something and just get the paper off. You want to clean your plate and not have little pieces left on there when you're putting something else in. Malaya, do you have to leave? No, she's just, I have the dog under my desk here. Okay, let's see what these look like. Totally cool. I love all the dies. I also, I'm going to just leave a little bit of a border because I know I'm going to add my glue no matter how this cuts out, right? The other thing to remember is that I store my dies on a magnetic sheet and I keep it separate from the stamp set. Now, in a perfect world, I would take my stamp set, which do I have one over here? And so like this, these two go together, brightest glow and the labels aglow, okay? In a perfect world, I would take this and write on here, coordinates with labels aglow dies. On my die, I would do the same thing, coordinates with, you can put it down here, coordinates with the set that it coordinates with. But this set has lots of cool things that I may not just use with this set, right? So that's why I keep mine separate, just so I can go through them. But at the end of the day, you want to know what set is made to go with which one. That way you would have them. Also, you want to always keep this information sheet, because not only does it tell you the name of the dies, but it tells you how many are in there. Very important, believe me, because some of the dies have the number on, but a lot of them don't. So these I see do not have the item number stamped on there. So just case in point, let's see what this one looks like. Ta-da. Very cool. Okay. Ooh, look at all that. That's kind of neat. That says to me, that's a guy card thing. You can have a cool color, strong color behind there and show that through. Isn't that neat? I like that. Now you could also probably turn this around and use it on the other side. I'm making a mess. That's okay. I'm the one that has to clean it up. Here we go. What if I do this and flip it over, give it the same border here as I did over here, approximately. I'm just eyeballing it. Okay. Oh, here's my clear plate. I knew I took out nicer, cleaner plates to use with you. It was so clean I couldn't find it. Okay. So I'm going to run this through again. On Friday, I'll have to make something with all these cool things that I'm trying out here, but there we go. So look at that. This is a cool die, y'all. So all these little pieces. And you can take your foam pad, right? And then, let's see here, the pickup tool. And the pickup tool has a little brush, which I don't have right here. Well, darn. I have it at the table. This is an old one, but this is an old one that we used to sell. But this unscrews, and then there's a foam brush that you can screw in there. And on the foam, then you can just push out all those without having to poke them all out. Isn't that cool? Very cool. Okay. So let me put that aside. Let's move some of this off of here, because I don't want any paper left on my sheet here when I go in with a different die. So that one's cool. Let's see. There's another one on this set. This set has three of them. So here's Floral. Let's do this. So again, so this one's not so bad because, I mean, it's just a little, you don't have that hard line. So I'm going to go in with this one. I'm just going to kind of set it off to the side a little bit so I have an even border. But again, if you were going over and over and over, put it through at an angle. Don't keep hitting it in the same spot back and forth, okay? That's what's going to warp your dies. So here we go. And using the correct sandwich, we used to call it a sandwich. Using the correct sandwich is going to save your equipment. So, oh, I see. Okay, it cuts that whole thing out. And look at this. It has a pretty little detailed cutout. So let's do this. Let me turn this over. Let's just see here. And if you're, when you use the brush and it gets angled like that, just turn it over. There you go. You're going to get all the little pieces out. Some of them you may want to poke out. Some people aren't bothered, but see, now it's nice and straight. So you go one way, turn it over, use the other way. And isn't that cute? Very pretty. So you could use, you could color that or put it on, yeah, whatever. It would look nice on black, in black on white. I think that would be cool. So there we go. Let's see here. I have a couple other dies that I was just going to try out as long as I was messing with this stuff. I'm making a huge mess, but that's okay. That's what it's for. Okay, so this is the Labels Aglow dies. So, and then the other thing is, so this one I'm going to put straight across here. This is going to put in all kinds of little holes. Let's see what it does. The other thing is, I generally, even if it's a photopolymer, I like to stamp and then use the die to cut out. So when I'm stamping a verse on here or something, I'm using the die after it's stamped so I can line it up exactly how I want it. So here's this one. Let's just see what this does. So this is a set that's in the holiday catalog. But again, I have a bigger, you know, a hard line on there, so I just went at a slight angle to go through there. Ooh, ooh, that's cool. So put some gold behind there, and it's all sparkly. Nice, really nice. Clean that off. Let's see what's on the other side. Is just a big circle. I don't think it'll fit. Same thing, right? You're gonna do here. Let's move this. I'll have to use that on something. Let's put the circle in here. I'm just gonna put this in. There we go. So if this is gonna cut all those little holes again, and I'm anticipating putting something in there. But if I was going over and over and over, rotate your paper. Rotate your paper so that you're rotating your die and not going back and forth in the same direction. You're going to save yourself some heartache when it's all kind of cattywampus. Ooh, that's cool. There we go. My little brush here. There we go. Oh, very cool. Very cool. All right. And if I was going to put something glowy behind there, like the shimmer paper or the foils or something, I would just put it, I would measure this out, giving yourself enough room. I centered it so I have enough room to glue it on, but I would cut it slightly smaller than this area you want. You don't have to put it all down here if it's just something that's in the background. Save on your paper. But yeah, that's cool. Very cool. So I hope that helped or answered some questions. If you have more questions, let me know. But that's my kind of rule of thumb when I'm using, even if you have all these little dots in here, you can use your brush that fits onto your or your paper, the pickup, and brush those out. Because if you get all that, you're not going to get cutting. It's not going to cut well if you get a buildup of paper in there. So just remember that too, to kind of clean your dies off after you're done. I store mine on a magnetic sheet. I always put it flat side down so you get a better fix, you know, instead of turning it this way. I have my flat side down so that it fixes on the label there. So there we go. I'm going to move all these good things out of the way. I have made a huge mess. So this is pretty snappy, fast, but I'm going to show you the paper pumpkin from this month. So mine just came in, I think yesterday, the day before here. So now that I have a big mess and I have a lot to play with for Friday, look at all these cool things. There we go. Ta-da. Ooh la la. Okay, so our paper pumpkin made 9 cards this month. This is it. So I did the barn, and Patty, you said it, yeah, it's not, the barn is not something that you see so much in Florida, but look at this. Sending good thoughts, paper pumpkin is totally a Florida thing. So, it's really, really super cute. So here are these little, here's our, and the base is embossed. Hello, Amy. So I thought this was really cute. The little bottles, it comes with twine. You stamp this. Here's the, I'll show you the verse. Now there's nothing inside. So of course I have to fix these up for Friday. So here's one of them. Here is the second one, which I think is totally cool. This one too has the water and the clouds embossed in it. So that's already pre-done. So I just stamped the ship on there and the verse. So really cool. And number 3 this one. So it has a little tag here. Can't wait to see you. You have the note in there, which also would be a cool diploma. And this background here is also raised. It's also an embossed image. So kind of cool. It comes with the Bermuda Bay spot. So everything is done with that same thing, which just kind of makes it simple. This is the stamp set. These are exclusive to Paper Pumpkin. They don't come out any other time. But some really nice verses. So sending good thoughts, can't wait to see you, thinking of you, and wishing you all the best. So I use some of them, but then there's extra ones that I didn't use, like the little starfish and the little seahorse. So a very nice stamp set. And then it also has all these cool envelopes to go with. So all the envelopes come with. So the twine, the dots, yeah, and then you're going to end up with extra pieces at the end too. So I'll try to make some different things with that for Friday's class. But super cute Paper Pumpkin, sending good thoughts. Next month, we got a sneak peek, is Sweet Sunflowers. So, and then next month it says free gift for subscribers. So the sunflower is going to have some extra items in it. It's some pre-cut die cut, or yeah, printed die cut pieces, and 2 ink spots. So once a year they have a special and they send us some extra things. So this one looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. The box alone is super cute. So suitable for gift giving. So something fun to think about. So there we go. I am going to turn the camera around. I've made a big mess on Malaya's bed down here. Let me just turn this around here. Ta-da. Oops, come on. Oops, I tightened it too much. There we go. Woo! Now it'll fall off. There we go. Okay. So I hope that answered a couple of questions, kind of spur of the moment. I didn't, I was going to just do some stamping, but as long as I had 2 questions about the equipment and they were all with the Cut Emboss machine, I thought I would address that issue. So hopefully you picked up some pointers for taking good care of your equipment. It will last a lot longer, and you paid good money for it, so you want to take care of it and have fun with it for many, many years to come. So thank you so much for joining me. I will be back on Friday where I will make something with all these little things, die cuts that I created here today in the big mess. I'll have that vacuumed up and ready. And I will probably use that cute stamp set from this month's Paper Pumpkin too. So thank you so much. I hope y'all have a good night, and I will see you on Friday for Follow-Up Friday. I should be on it too. I have no other plans, I think, just to be with you. So thank you so much. Y'all take care. Bye-bye. Maybe not.